Well, it seems this Labour government set on not just changing who can vote at the next election, but also potentially where they'll be allowed to vote. And I think this is all pretty alarming. Before I get to that though, pretty sad that in parts of England, large parts of England, we saw the local elections cancelled this year, and already talk you could see the same happening again next year, because you've got Conservative council chiefs warning, basically lobbying Labour to try and delay and stop and cancel the elections again. Because, well, if Reform get in, they might actually challenge the stitch-up we've got underway in terms of the reorganisation of things at local level. And here is Reform MP Lee Anderson simply asking the Prime Minister, are the elections going to be cancelled for the second year in a row?
The Labour front bench continue to peddle their own form of dog whistle politics. Reform UK. Reform UK are cracking on with the day job. Our reform-led councils are reform...
Can I just say, you might say it's the way he tells them, but it might be worse, it's the way I tell them. Lee Anderson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Our reform-led councils have already identified savings of over £330 million in the first 6 months. And the Prime Minister may shake his head propped up by these gullible backbenchers, but here's the challenge. Will he guarantee, will he ensure that all the cancelled elections from this year and the proposed local elections for next year will go ahead in May 2026? Go on, be a man.
I didn't realise this was quite so good at stand-up comedy. Mr Speaker, he talks about dog whistle. Last week, his leader said he didn't have time to condemn the racist comments of his fellow MP for Runcorn. He also said he didn't have time to condemn his party calling children in care evil. He didn't have time. I wonder if we can ask his leader next door to him whether he's got time for his explanation for the stories in today's papers.
Well, as ever there, pretty lacklustre answer there from our Prime Minister. But I want to draw your attention to this report that you could see in terms of the next election. The ministers are exploring polling stations being open potentially as far back as a weekend before the Thursday of the vote. But not just that, in terms of this Votes for Children, because, of course, Labour now want to give 16 and 17-year-olds the vote. This being talked about, that you could actually see mobile polling booths in schools. So 16 and 17-year-olds would be able to vote in schools. Now, the reason I think this is pretty dangerous if this was to happen is because you can see, you get a flavour of the teaching establishment who are very, very left-wing. I mean, they're almost as left-wing as the BBC. But in terms of what the leading teaching union are saying here, the largest teaching union, it's the usual nonsense. And they also, in that motion, committed to the National Education Union using its political fund for campaigns against reform election candidates. So you've got that at the same time as potentially votes in schools for children. Right, okay. Nigel Farage, by the way, saying that if Reform win the 2029 general election, they're going to go to war with the National Education Union and other left-wing teaching unions as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Potentially not just votes for children at the next general election, but polling booths in schools. Please do whack this video a quick thumbs up, guys. And of course, as ever, cheers for watching.